Digital real estate, how to make money in my econ, even if you're not good at recruiting. And this was put on my heart to share this presentation because I think it's a lot of things that many of you in the royalty movement are missing out on with being in my econ from a different angle outside of just the recruiting aspect. Yes, we have some great products. Yes, we have some great services. Yes, we can help a lot of people. Yes, you can make great income. Yes, you can retire early. But there's some other things that I think you might be missing out on that I was awakened to, and we were doing it, but just didn't realize that we were doing it and the benefit that it can have long term. So I said, you know what, let me paint this picture, because if at least one person gets this out of everybody who watches this, then I'm pleased. I want at least one person to catch the power in digital real estate and how you can make money in my econ, even if you're not good at recruiting. Because a lot of people are terrified of recruiting and selling and thinking that's what my econ is all about. No, my econ is really about you taking care of your own finances. My econ is really about you shifting your own income. And before I get into that, shout out to everybody who's new in my econ, new to the royalty movement. Hopefully you're going through the 30-day plan, you know, where we lay out things that you need to do. Shout out to everybody who has been tuning into the content and making sure you're following the steps, making sure that you are at least in position to get paid, position to better your finances. Shout out to everybody diving into the credit tutorials and just taking advantage of the information that we have. Definitely share your testimonies, because back to what I was saying is, that's what my econ is all about. It's about you taking advantage of the information and using it to your benefit. Once you do that, I kid you not, if you just apply what it is that we teach, whether it's you adjusting your W-4, whether it's you diving into the credit content and you learning something, whether it's you actually implementing what you learn and you boosting your own credit score, whether you share that information with somebody else and you earn income, I promise you, if you start at least just tapping into what my econ has to offer and implement it, it's going to be hard not to share it. Because most of the time when a person has a good reaction, response to something that they tried out, it's natural to share it. Just like watching a good movie, it's natural to tell somebody about it. Just like eating at a good restaurant, it's natural to tell somebody about it. Just like watching something, you know, that you might have seen scroll across social media, it's natural to tell somebody about it. So what I challenge you to do is take advantage of what you have. Do not sleep on what you have from an application standpoint, and then the rest will unfold itself. But beyond that, you had the opportunity to tap into what I call digital real estate, and you can make money in my econ even if you feel you're not good at recruiting. Like I stated, it's not about recruiting, it's about you doing what my econ is empowering you to be able to do. And then naturally, by default, you'll probably end up sharing it with somebody else. But if you don't, the best thing is you at least made progress for yourself. So I'm going to make the screen a little bit bigger. And get your pen and pad handy. And like I said, all I need is this to resonate with at least one person, and I will feel like my time was well spent. So hopefully you can see this screen. Hopefully I shared all of the right components. But digital real estate, how to make money in my econ even if you're not good at recruiting. And I won't make this presentation too long because I just want to get the point across. Hopefully it resonates, and then get out so you can implement what it is that we discussed. But if not, then we would definitely continue to implement. Now, what is digital real estate? And I want you to, if you're watching this live during the watch party or whatever the case may be, type in the comments what you think digital real estate is. Type it in the comments. And some of you may be familiar with this terminology. So if that's you, then go ahead and still put it in the comments, and then we'll, you know, determine whether or not you were right if you already know. So type it in the comments. What is digital real estate? What does it sound like? Because when I first heard the terminology, I was like, yeah, that actually makes sense. Because we live in a day and age now where things are shifting. Some of the old ways we were taught to generate income are still here, but not the only way of doing things. Not the priority way of doing things, not the best way to do things. Some of the ways that people got rich in the past aren't even the best ways to get rich today. And that's just the fact of the matter. That's the power of progress, the power of technology, the power of people and innovation, having ideas and seeing opportunities. That's the power of that. So what do you think digital real estate is? Well, I'll tell you. Digital real estate are things like websites, blogs, apps, videos, etc. Anything that lives online is considered to be digital real estate. At one point, it was a .com boom where everybody was buying all of the popular domains because they understood back then that the domain name was like digital real estate. It was like getting access to a beachfront property that people may want later, and you can sell it at a higher price. That was known as digital real estate. They realized that because a lot of people are spending time and they reside online. So all of these things are in the family of digital real estate. But the one that I have highlighted, the one that I have in bold, is the one that I want to spend my time on. Now, don't hop out just because you realize that digital real estate is not anything to do with physical real estate, because I promise you, if you understand the concept of this, it may allow you to embrace it as you would physical real estate, if not more. Because in many cases, this is something that you can implement, or more people are likely to implement and take advantage and profit from digital real estate. It just is what it is, if you understand it. So videos is what I want to spend a lot of time on as it relates to digital real estate, because it gives you the ability to do what real estate gives you the ability to do. Not live in it, walk in and do things like that, but you can present, you can earn income, you can get passive income from it, and with a lot less of the headaches. So what do I mean? Typical real estate typically requires a couple of things. Credit, which we help people with, which we, show people all day how to better their own credit. I personally help people do it if they don't want to do it themselves. But it requires credit. You having some type of credibility that allows the banks or lenders to give you some type of loan or debt. That's typical real estate. Or contracts, if you're not doing real estate from an angle of getting into debt and you're doing contract flipping, wholesale, and things of that nature, it requires contract. And this is not to say that digital real estate replaces these things. If you are in real estate or aspire to be in real estate, still take advantage of it, because that's an angle that we are taking as well. But I just want you to know that typical real estate requires a couple of things that digital real estate does not require. It also requires tenants, having to deal with people, change toilets, or pay somebody to do it, contracts, and hiring them out. And none of that stuff is bad. All of that stuff is mandatory and important, because for as long as humanity will be around, people will be living in real estate. That's just how it works. So real estate is not a bad investment, not a bad thing, but I just want you to understand that it's a couple of barriers that you have to get over in order to fully position yourself to tap into physical or typical real estate. On the flip side, digital real estate allows people to pay you, and they don't even realize that they're paying you. Now, I know I said that I want to talk about digital real estate and how you can get paid in my econ even if you're not good at recruiting. But I'm going to get there. But digital real estate allows people to pay you, and they don't even know that they're paying you. Now, how is that possible? Because at a glance, you might think, how can somebody pay you and they don't know they're paying you? Well, this is how. And this is important. And when you get this, then you'll understand where you put all of your attention matters. Because we live in a world now where attention is currency. Literally, attention is currency. Where you place your focus is literal currency. And this is visual attention. This is auditory attention. All of that combined. Where you place your attention equals currency. So a lot of times when you see a lot of things that's floating in your face all the time, you got to be careful what you give your attention to, because not only does what you focus on expand, what you pay attention to also pays them. Also is currency for that individual or company or entity that is putting themselves in front of you. And sometimes they may have alternative, I'll say, they got their own agenda sometimes. So you got to be careful of where you put your attention, because not everybody has your best interest at heart. Now, on the flip side, there's a way that you can benefit from that. Because attention is currency, that means that people can literally pay you even if they're not paying you, or even if they don't know that they're paying you. Because if they pay you attention, literally that's currency. It's funny how that turned out. Pay attention. Pay attention was just a term that you say to your kids or somebody who's not focusing, not, looking at what you want them to look at. You'll tell them to pay attention. Literally now, if you pay attention, it equals currency. It translates into money. Let me prove it to you real quick. Let me get out of this real quick, and I'm going to show you. Because look, as it relates to what I'm talking about, as it relates to videos, I want you to understand the importance of videos and why you need to be doing them. And no, matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and stay in presentation mode, and I'll show you how literally attention is currency shortly after, when I get out of this screen. Because what you got to understand, that the internet is still young. Now, matter of fact, I take that back. This is how attention is currency. We've been doing videos on YouTube for some time now, YouTube and Facebook for some time now. We got hundreds of videos on YouTube. However, I just started doubling down on those videos over the past, I say 6 months or so. Doubling down, well, I say more than 6 months. We got hundreds of videos, so we've been doubling down on it for a while. But I've been more so focused on trying to really make sure that these videos aren't in vain, giving good content, giving value, giving away stuff that some people would charge for in the form of a video. And as a result, YouTube gave me a message or notified me and let me know, hey, you now qualified to be a part of our partner program, which means you can get paid when those commercials play in front of your videos, which means that the videos that you're creating have just turned into digital real estate. So they live online on YouTube. That's the land. That's the plot of land that it resides on. And when people pay attention, when they look at it, I get compensated. Why? Because there are ads that run before, after, between my videos, our videos that allow us to get paid. And I'm going to show you, and I'm going to tell you this. We just started getting paid from YouTube. Literally, we just received our second YouTube check yesterday, a second YouTube direct deposit yesterday. So we're fresh in this. The first YouTube check was an accumulation of a couple of months, and it was like $300. Not bad for some free content that we've been putting out that people are watching. And if they watch it and see different videos or commercials, it turns into cash for us. Their attention literally equal currency for us, and we get a deposit. Then yesterday, the YouTube deposit was a little bit over 100, and this is just the beginning. So, because I kid you not, it will grow over time, especially now that I understand the importance of it. So why am I stressing that importance to you? This is not for me to brag and say, okay, we got another stream of income that's paying us X, Y, Z. No, this is because if you understand what you have in my econ, you can be doing the same thing. So even if you're not good at recruiting, even if you're not good at sales, if you're good at, or even not even good at giving value or doing videos, it can turn into currency for you. And the reason why I say you don't even have to be good is because people want to hear from people like you. A lot of times online, people are more so gravitating towards the person who is not the most polished, not the most articulate, not the most dressed up suit and tie. They want to hear from a person who is relatable, somebody that they feel like they may talk to if they were going to school with them, at work with them, at a public event. They want to hear from somebody who seems like a regular person. So embrace all of your quirkiness, all of the things that you think aren't presentable. And I promise you, there's some people who are attached to you and want to hear it directly from you. I don't care if you just start getting in the habit of doing short videos, short content, because that content has the ability to pay you for life and outlive you. And I'm getting ahead of myself, but we're talking about legacy in the form of digital real estate. So hang with me, hang with me. Now, this is what I mean when I say that attention literally equals currency. Now, these are not big numbers. but I just want you to see what's going on here. And this is just for the last 28 days. The last 28 days from January 27th up until, just yesterday, because today is not over. And at the time of this recording, it's the 24th. But we got W-4 videos. How to fill out W-4. Where do you think that came from? My Econ, W-4, credit repair business, how to fill out W-4. We even incorporated a Tyler Perry motivational speech that's generating some income that we stripped, added it through a little editing software, and put it in there. How to fill out 2020 W-4, 10 unusual ways to boost your credit score. All of these, if you look at it, are generating revenue. Each video. So we got $5 and some change a couple of times, $4 and some change, $3 and some change, $2 and some change, $1 and some change, all the way down to some cent. So if you knew that you can have some digital real estate out there that's paying you $1 every month, how many videos of digital real estate properties would you have out there? As many as possible. As many as possible. Because the very fact that you put the content out there and positioned yourself to be seen and people paid your attention, it also led to currency in your pocket. And that's an asset. That way, you can freely give out good, valuable information. And whether somebody signs up with you in My Econ or not, which more than likely they will, if you're educating them and giving them value, you'll have some people that randomly sign up with you as long as your link is there. Like we have random people that sign up with us from time to time. So if you are giving value, people by default will end up signing up. However, if they don't, and you're just giving value and educating, then you will be compensated no matter what. But I want you to see the importance of this before I, before we wrap up. This is what you got to understand from a legacy standpoint. The internet is still young. A lot of people are, it feels like the internet has been around, but the internet is still our generation. Like it's still fairly young. So what you got to understand is that content will be added into people's wheels if it's not already. Had a little typo there. So what that means is that a lot of times when people think about their legacy, what they want to pass down, what they want to put in their will, they may think about real estate, their home. They may think about some precious items that they have. They may think about some investments, some stocks, their portfolio. They may think of those things that everybody thinks about. However, we're living in a day and age now that because we have digital real estate and online things that are generating revenue, those things are going to be being added inside a person's will. Our grandparents didn't have that opportunity to have videos just floating around that we can actually watch them and get to know them and feel like we knew them, or see some of the things that they were doing in their youthful years that they were able to pass down because they didn't know that that video would one day still be generating revenue because the content was still relevant even years later, which meant that the content outlived them. So the internet is still in its infancy. So if you're creating content, this is something that you should add to your arsenal of things you want to pass down to your future generations. Most of the time I talk to people, they're like, yeah, I want to pass something down to my generation, leave something for my kids, and the thing that they're thinking about is money. Well, money is starting to change. It's starting to shift. The dollar bill is one thing, but we're starting to shift into what could be a digital era to where cash may be obsolete. Crypto may end up taking over. Who knows? But content, no matter what form currency exists in, people are what give currency its power, our attention. If we weren't paying attention to certain currencies, it wouldn't matter. Why is that important? Your content is the same thing, because attention is what equals currency. So when you're thinking about your legacy building, your wealth building, and your portfolio and things you want to pass down, do not leave content creation and digital real estate off the table. Every video adds to your legacy, unlike the physical work a person may put in at their job. If a person is doing physical work at their job, at the end of the day, the job is done. They got to come back and do it again. But that work that they did on that day will not generate them any revenue, or generate their kids and future generations any revenue. Now, the money you earn may generate some revenue for them if you invested and pass down your investment, but the work itself will not add to their legacy. This video I'm recording right now, which I'll strip and end up putting on YouTube, and even though it's directed towards my e-commerce, it's still going to benefit somebody else who sees the value in it and understands the power of digital real estate. So this content right here will be being added to my legacy that I'm recording right now, unlike a job. So I want you to understand the power in that. And shout out to Jamisha, who was doing some videos and getting some views on Facebook, doing it on YouTube. I want you to keep it up. If you're listening right now, keep that up, because that's adding to your legacy. That's something that can pay you over time, pay your kids over time if you're keeping it up, because it's somebody who's going to like the energy that you bring to it. Me and Angie, we loved the energy you brought to it. You were straight to the point. You wasn't cutting no slack. You told people if they had to cut off their Netflix or whatever you had to do in order to generate that cash flow, do what you got to do. People want to hear it from that angle. So keep up that good work. And what you got to understand about My Econ is My Econ has content that will be relevant for a long time. It's what's known as evergreen, almost timeless, because to the end of time, I'm sure people will be interested in personal finances, personal financial success. No matter what form money tends to take, they're going to want to know how to be personally, financially successful. So why is that important as it relates to what My Econ is able to do? Now, I think I might have skipped a slide, or I meant to add a slide. No. So this is what I'm going to do. My Econ has content that's centered around credit, which is going to be around for a while, centered around debt elimination, cash flow, assets over liability. All of those things are going to be relevant for some time. So how do you go about creating content? So some people may say, well, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. We literally have content on top of content. I just recorded about 10 videos in the past 2 days that came from topics inside of the My Econ social media content training platform. So you may see it as just a meme, but I see it as a video. So we might post this, but what if you created a video that said, hey, these are the biggest money wasters, and you boom, 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 went through them in a short video. Hey, 6 things to do before you start investing. And you put it in a video. 2 kinds of people, entrepreneurship, spending your time. These are content pieces that can give you 50, 100 videos just off of taking these and running with it. And that's just one example. I spent a lot of time creating content centered around the titles of these credit articles. And one is generating some views. One is in that list right here. 10 unusual ways to raise your credit score. And I'm going to show you. 10 unusual ways to raise your credit score. And I just recorded that. Where is it at? Or did I already pass it? I don't want to miss it. I saw it somewhere. I know these are recent. 7 things you don't want. 7 things I don't want. Boom, right there. Right there. 10 unusual ways to raise your credit score. Literally, when did I drop it? This was published on February 11th. So that was the first video I grabbed. So that wasn't in the past 10 days. But as you can see, I took that title, created a whole video out of it, didn't even change the title, and created content out of it that's going to live on the platform. I'm going to be getting paid for that in 2 years. In 2 years, because why? It's digital real estate. So look at all of these opportunities to create content. You don't have to be the expert. All you have to do is study the content and just do a video on it. When me and Andrew was first getting started with doing video content, we literally would look up articles, see 6 ways a person can get out of debt. Study, okay, you take 1, 3, and 5. I'm going to take 2, 4, and 6. Okay, bet, let's go. 6 ways that you can go ahead and get out of debt faster. Number 1, and we'll boom, boom, boom. Giving away content. They put it in the document, but they're not going to add the spice that we add to it. They're not going to add that season that we add to it when we put it in a video. So put your spin on it. I don't care if you're shy, reserved. It's a queen named Diana who's in here, and she did a W4 video. And on sometimes when I'm searching, I still see her ranked. If she keeps that up, this could be digital real estate that can pay her for many years to come that she can pass down for her legacy. So a lot of you got a lot of potential, and we got the content right here that you can use in order to build your digital real estate portfolio. We can't just think about portfolio in the normal ways. Yes, we want to be investing. Yes, we want to acquire assets. But your time and your investments and you putting out content is digital real estate that you want to add to your portfolio. Even these memes right here. This is next on the list. I've done some of these, but I'm going to take these memes. 6 ways to build credit fast. Boom. I'm going to go over all of them. How to build credit. And a lot of these I've done in different variations because I've done a lot of credit videos, but all of these are opportunities. So my econ is positioning you to build your digital real estate portfolio because now you can educate on certain things that, and I promise you, you know more than most people about the topics that my econ has. So do not sleep on this. Do not take lightly the opportunity that you have in terms of turning the content that you've been given access to into a digital real estate portfolio. And it's simple because it's not like physical real estate. You don't have to worry about getting into debt and tenants and things of that nature. Not that any of that is bad, like I said before. All you need is a cell phone. Same thing you're probably watching me on now. All you need is a YouTube account, Facebook like page. And the reason why I say those two is because those are the ones that are currently paying out. And from what I hear, Facebook pays more than YouTube. And we're a few thousand likes on our like page away from being able to monetize it, but you better believe I'm going to add that to our digital real estate portfolio. So I got some things in the works that I want to put together so we can start allowing that portfolio to build as well. And I'm pretty sure other platforms are on the way to where people can get paid for their content. TikTok may be on the list in the future, who knows? Instagram with IGTV, who knows? So be in position already so when they do start paying, you're already in position because you've been building your portfolio, creating content in other places that now you can strip, have edited, crop certain things, and make it relevant to that particular platform. And in addition to those things that you need is drive. You got to have drive. You got to be willing to push through. You got to be willing to say, you know what, I want to create a legacy with my content, with my voice, with empowering somebody else because somebody needs to hear it from me. That's just the fact of the matter. And last but not least, passion to empower people, because that's really what this all boils down to. When we get in front of the camera and we're talking to the camera, we're in hopes that they get some value on the other end. It's not a take relationship. We're giving as often as we can because we know the universe will reward us automatically. And it's happening just in a small sense of YouTube. It happens in other forms as well. So understand the power of what you have. Understand the power of creating digital real estate so you can add this to your portfolio and make money with my econ even if you're not good at recruiting. So I challenge each and every one of you to start setting a goal of how often you want to create content. We used to have people who were creating content all the time, and it was more so we can make sure they had posture. So where people weren't always looking for us, no, they look at you as the expert. They look at you as the trusted advisor. You know, for lack of better words, they look at you as the person who has access to information that they can benefit from, which you do. But it's up to you to start putting yourself out there and putting the content out there, even if you do like one of the queens used to do. She didn't like showing her face in the camera. She got good at screen recording. They got different screen recording features that you can use on your phone that's very easy. So you can take a slideshow and be talking, and all it is your voice. And YouTube loves content like that, where a person may not ever show their face, but they're just sliding through the slideshow and talking over it in the form of a presentation. We literally have my econ presentations on YouTube that we earn some money off of because people have went to the site to watch the presentation over and over and watch commercials, which led to compensation. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. Digital real estate needs to be a part of your portfolio. I challenge you to at least start figuring out, okay, how often do I want to drop and release some digital real estate? Do I want to do it weekly? Do I want to do it daily? Do I want to do it bi-weekly? At least bi-weekly, bare minimum. But either way, it's up to you. I just know that that's what we're going to do, and we're reaping the benefits now for things that we've done years ago. And it's good to know that that time was not in vain. Whether somebody joined my econ or saw the video or not, the fact that we've been added to it, we're now in position to make sure we take that to the next level, scale it, and have content online that will probably outlive us and be able to pay and fund our future generations, even if it's 20, 30, 50, 80, 100 years from now. So understand the power in that, and that concludes this particular training. Hopefully you got some value from this. Hopefully you got a new perspective of what content can be for you as it relates to your portfolio, your wealth, your creations that you put in place in order to change your family's situation. You see, we live in a world where we are conditioned for failure, and oftentimes we're programmed or fooled into mediocrity. So people find themselves living like peasants instead of the royalty that they were meant to be. But you see here in the royalty movement, we see the king in you. We see the queen in you from start to finish. It's just time to take your seat on the throne, because this is where we uplift your character, your confidence, and your cash flow. As royalty, you should establish a solid financial foundation that will soon lead to your abundance and thriving empire. Take your seat on the throne. You are royalty. Salute.